The war had been raging for years, but in 1918 the world was finally reaching its breaking point. The episode opens not with peace or promise, but with the echo of gunfire and the weight of sacrifice. Somewhere on the battlefield of Amiens, Matthew Crawley and William Mason fight side by side. Two men from vastly different worlds, bound by loyalty and courage. The sky is gray, the ground trembling, and before the dust settles, both are struck down. When the news reaches Downton, silence falls like ash. The great house, once a symbol of comfort and civility, becomes a place of whispered fears and quiet prayers. Everyone senses it. Something irreversible has happened. Lady Violet Crawley, the indomitable matriarch, refuses to accept defeat. When she learns that William is gravely injured but denied care at Downton because he's not an officer, she doesn't hesitate. Rules mean nothing to her when compassion is at stake. With her trademark wit and steel resolve, she pulls every string she can find, even calling in favors from relatives she can barely tolerate. By sheer force of will, she brings William home, not to recover, but to die surrounded by the people who love him. William's return is bittersweet. His body is failing, but his spirit is unbroken. He's brave, kind, and humble, the sort of man who'd rather suffer in silence than complain. Yet in those final hours, his one wish is simple: to marry Daisy. Daisy, the shy kitchen maid, can barely meet his gaze. Her heart is a storm of guilt and fear. She cares for him, but she doesn't love him the way he loves her. Marrying a dying man feels like a lie, and she's terrified of carrying that burden forever. But Mrs. Patmore, ever the voice of tough love, corners her with the truth. He's dying. Daisy, don't think of yourself right now. Think of what it'll mean to him. The words break something inside her. And so, with trembling hands and tearful vows, Daisy becomes William's wife. The ceremony is small and quiet, more sorrow than joy. But in that moment, kindness matters more than honesty. The sight of William, pale but smiling, lying beneath garlands of flowers, feels like both a blessing and a punishment. Hours later, he's gone, and Daisy, newly a widow, carries not only his name, but the weight of what-ifs that will haunt her long after the war ends. Even Thomas, Downton's perpetual schemer, surprises everyone. He offers genuine respect for William, a rare moment of humility from a man known for arrogance. He calls him a working lad just like me, and for once you sense his walls crack. The tragedy brings out the best and worst in everyone. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the servants' quarters, another drama unfolds. Mrs. Hughes hides Ethel, a former maid now disgraced and abandoned, in one of the cottages. Ethel has a baby, the illegitimate child of Major Bryant, who refuses even to acknowledge them. The injustice burns like coal beneath the episode's quiet grief. When Mrs. Hughes tries to deliver one of Ethel's desperate letters to him, he refuses to touch it, as though shame itself might stain his fingers. Still, Mrs. Hughes persists. She's the quiet conscience of Downton, the one who bends rules not for power, but for mercy. Every secret meal, every hidden gesture becomes an act of rebellion against a world too cruel to forgive. Upstairs, scandal brews in finer clothes. Vera Bates has returned, bitter and vengeful, determined to destroy her husband, John Bates, and anyone near him, including Anna, the pure-hearted maid who loves him. Vera's cruelty is poisonous. She feeds on other people's peace. When she threatens to expose Lady Mary's past affair with the late Mr. Pamuk, her spite becomes a ticking bomb. But Mary, no longer the naive girl she once was, faces it head-on. She confesses everything to Sir Richard Carlisle, her fiancé, a man of ambition and ice. Instead of turning away, he coolly tells her that now they're even. It's not forgiveness, but calculation. He buys Vera's silence with a legal trap, forcing her to sign away her right to sell the story. When the news breaks that Mary and Richard are engaged, Vera's fury boils over. Her revenge isn't over. It's merely waiting. Amid all the deceit and grief, Matthew lies wounded in bed, his face pale, his spirit broken. The doctor's verdict is devastating. His spinal cord is likely severed. He may never walk again. Worse, the doctor hints at a deeper loss. Matthew may never father children or know intimacy again. When Matthew learns this, something inside him shatters. Pride, dignity, and love twist into despair. He tells Lavinia that their engagement must end. In his mind, he's sparing her, freeing her from a future of pity and burden. But to her, it's a rejection wrapped in self-sacrifice. She loves him without hesitation, but he cannot bear the idea of being loved out of duty. In one of the episode's most tender moments, Lavinia and Mary speak privately, two women linked by love for the same man. Mary, who once took Matthew for granted, shows unexpected grace. She comforts Lavinia without jealousy, and in doing so, reveals how much she's changed. Her empathy feels like redemption, and as fate would have it, she becomes Matthew's constant companion. She sits beside him, reads to him, encourages him. You can feel something unspoken between them, a bond that tragedy cannot erase. It's not passion yet, but it's something deeper, understanding. Elsewhere, Sybil's story simmers quietly. Her connection with Branson grows stronger, though neither dares to name it. He's furious over the execution of the Russian royal family, a moment that exposes his ideals and his heart. She sees the pain beneath his fire, and he sees the courage behind her kindness. Their world forbids what's forming between them, but you can already feel the pull of destiny. Amid all the turmoil, Edith, often overlooked, steps into the light. She helps Lady Violet with William's transfer, showing compassion and maturity that surprises everyone. Slowly, she's carving out her own identity, proving that even in the shadow of her sisters, she has her own strength. By the time Isabel Crawley returns from her Red Cross duties, life at Downton has shifted once again. The house, still standing tall, feels heavier, full of ghosts and unfinished stories. The war outside mirrors the quiet wars within, between pride and love, duty and desire, truth and kindness. William's death lingers in the air. Daisy visits his father, their grief binding them in an unlikely friendship. Ethel's fate remains uncertain, her baby's future hanging in the balance. Bates and Anna cling to hope while Vera lurks in the dark. Matthew stares at a world he can no longer stand in, while Mary, ever poised, carries her own invisible wounds, and through it all, the great machine of Downton Abbey keeps turning, servants cleaning, bells ringing, secrets whispering through marble halls. Life doesn't pause for sorrow here. It simply rearranges itself around it. As the episode fades, you're left with one undeniable truth. War changes everything, but love, in all its fragile, imperfect forms, is what keeps these people alive. Whether it's Daisy's reluctant marriage, Violet's fierce compassion, or Mary's quiet redemption, every act of love becomes an act of defiance. In the end, Episode 5 isn't just a story about tragedy. It's about dignity. The kind that refuses to die even when hope seems lost. The kind that survives class, scandal, and war. Downton Abbey reminds us that behind every polished silver tray and whispered rumor, there's a beating heart, bruised, stubborn, and still reaching for grace.